Welcome to the New School of Marketing podcast, the place for smart, simple strategies that will amplify your business results. Sharing practical tips, insider knowledge, and actionable advice because marketing is something that every business owner can do. Now, let's get started. Introducing your host, Bianca McKenzie, mum, lover of snow sports, camping, horse riding, and in-demand launch strategist and Facebook advertising knowledge bank.
Hey, welcome to the New School of Marketing podcast, or if you're tuning in again, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we dive into this episode, I would love to pay my respect and acknowledgement to the Palawa people of Lutruwita, who are the traditional owners of the land on which my business operates, and I pay my respect to the elders past, present, and emerging. It's that time of year. So we put up our Christmas tree. Yes, I know it's not quite December yet. I don't know which camp you're in, but we put it up anyway. I'm almost done with our Christmas shopping. We did our Santa photos on the weekend. Oh my God, they're so cute. Honestly, they are so cute. And look, I am more than ready to wrap up this year, but I have 2 busy weeks ahead before I'll actually be able to wind down. Anyway, also, I don't know if you're like me, because, I do this all the time. I've already started planning for 2024. I do this all the time, like way ahead. Like by the time it's October, I'm like, oh, can I start planning already? And in this episode, I want to talk about how Facebook advertising fits in with your bigger marketing picture. And it's always important to create a marketing plan and a strategy for the year ahead. And it kind of goes hand in hand with what I want to talk about in this episode. So if you're planning for the year ahead, you'll probably be thinking about things like when your launches are, what your content calendar will look like roughly, what your social media calendar will look like roughly, which new products or services you might add to your existing suite of offers, how many clients you want to work with and can realistically work with. I'm thinking about all of this because my daughter is going to school full-time next year. So I don't know, other parents could tell me that maybe I'm dreaming, but I'm hoping I'll get a little bit more time to do some work. And everyone has their own take on planning, and that is totally okay. It's great, really. Stick with what works for you. So what I'm going to share with you might work for you, or only parts of it may work for you. Take what you need from this episode and make it your own to suit your business. So I'll be sharing my thought and process of how I use and plan Facebook ads into my business. So first up, I will do my overall plan for the year, which highlights what particular activity I'll be doing in a particular month of the year. Like I'll sit down with a whole big calendar and look at it, put all the school holidays in first and all of those kind of things first, like personal stuff goes in first. And then I sort of plan around that. Of course, I also need to look at my client launch plans and, plan them in. It's important to have some plan in place for your year, and then you can use Facebook ads to support that plan. So, for example, I'm planning to launch my signature Facebook ads program twice next year, and I'll be using Facebook ads to support this launch and grow my list. So I'll use Facebook ads to grow my list for the launch. And my first launch will be in April, most likely. I'm still planning, which means that I will plan my pre-launch for February, March. And pre-launching to me means all the activities I need to do before opening cart of the program. So in this case, list building is one of them. So I will plan my Facebook advertising for February and March. So, and I break my ads into categories. So there's pre-launch, list building, there's open cart retargeting, and there's cart closing retargeting. And there are a few more layers in each of these categories, but for the sake of this episode, I'm keeping it simple. So using these categories, I will then carefully plan which dates I will be advertising a free opt-in or a webinar or, something to build my list, and then use this data to retarget once my cart is open. And retargeting is a method of showing your ads to those who are already familiar with you because they've clicked on your site, where they may or may not have signed up. They might be on your list. They've visited one of your pages, like your Facebook or your Instagram pages. It's basically someone who already knows you to some extent. So I will sit down with my calendar on which I've planned all my launches out, and then I'll determine how I'm going to support my launches with Facebook ads. I then look at my pre-launch period, and I will set dates for running Facebook ads to grow my list. And most of the time, for me, this is a minimum of a 4 to 6 week period in which I will first run ads to like a free download or a video series for like 4 to 5 weeks. And then I will layer in ads to a live webinar for kind of like 10 days, usually 10 to 14 days. And both methods are geared towards list building. And I'm using examples here, and I don't want you to feel like you must run a video series or a webinar. You need to find out what kind of lead magnet works for your audience. Like, you need to know who your target is and what they want. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm planning 2 launches for my Facebook program. So I'll be basically duplicating what I've done for my first launch to the second launch to a degree, because I will always review what went well or not so well during the first launch and then adjust my strategy for the second launch. But I want to have something in the calendar at the start of the year, because you know what? Otherwise it never happens, right? If you have offers, like services or programs that compete against each other, you can pare back advertising for one while you focus on the other if you're running ads all the time. So sales for my courses are basically driven by the number of people who sign up to my list, and then I nurture to purchase. So it's really important to focus on growing my list. And I still find that the fastest way to do this is to run Facebook and Instagram ads. And I also pay attention to what other advertisers are doing during the year, so that I'm not actually spending more than I have to, because I don't want to, in a way, compete against big businesses with large advertising budgets. And this is not always possible because you don't know what's going to come up, for other people. But I try not to be advertising in the same months as, like, for example, Amy Porterfield or something like that. Because, she would have a much bigger budget than I do. In the end, though, it's important to keep an eye on all of your numbers. And it might seem obvious, but the main goal of using advertising is to make more sales. And whether that's immediately because that's how your funnel performs, or whether it's later because your audience needs a longer period of time before they purchase from you. So keep an eye on your number at all times. And the method I describe works for me, but it might not work for you, and that's okay. Like I said, take what you need from my methods and focus on your own. And I simply wanted to share my method with you and highlight some of the things to look out for, like peak advertising times in your industry. If you have an e-commerce business, your plans may look a little different. So you'll most likely focus on seasons and when certain stock comes in. So you need to plan around your stock levels. And as an e-commerce business, you can pretty much advertise all year round and then put extra focus and budget into peak sales periods like Black Friday, Christmas, Mother's Day, all those kind of days. On top of that, you can run awareness or consideration campaigns to build a stronger relationship with your audience. And this is especially important if your price point is a little bit higher, because your customer needs to be able to relate and see themselves in the story. So for higher price points, you will almost always need to build a relationship first, which you can do with ads. You can do it with organic social media. You can do that with email marketing. It's just, if you have something that is, let's say, $1,500, like a beautiful piece of jewelry, most of the time you will not go from being discovered, like right now, someone sees your ad on Facebook and they purchase straight away. There might be the odd occasion that it happens, but most of us need to see the business a few times, the product a few times, and then at some point, if there's a special occasion, we might purchase it. But it takes a while to warm up to that purchase. So start planning your ads for next year, just like you would plan your social media calendar, your launches, your other marketing activities. And then think about a marketing budget to put towards your ads. And look, nothing is set in stone. You can always change things along the way. If you have a really good first launch, you might reconsider your ads budget for the second one to try and go bigger. You can change things a little bit. If you have any questions about planning your Facebook ads for 2024, feel free to send me a message on Instagram. I'll pop the links to my Instagram account in the show notes. I'm always happy to chat about planning. It's like, I don't know, it's like, it could be my hobby. I love planning things ahead. So start planning in your ads like you would, any of your other marketing activities, and just work them in there. Let them support your marketing activities. They will be able to amplify all of the things that you're doing. That is it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I hope it was helpful, and I can't wait to share more marketing tips with you next week. If you're ready to take your business to the next level with Facebook and Instagram advertising, don't forget to visit newschoolofmarketing.com to download practical free resources, plus subscribe to the podcast and never miss an episode. I can't wait to go on this journey with you. Until next time, take care and market your business every day.